Welcome, everyone.
Take your time. Start again.
Okay, I'm going to start again.
Because sometimes the
Because
beginning.
sometimes at the beginning the screen freezes. Do you want to pause the upload, actually,
Yeah,
Lee?
do that.
Where do I do that?
You'll find the button.
Pause
Pause
upload.
upload. Do it for both of you.
How?
You just hold
Oh,
down the
here we go.
computer.
Pause upload. Okay, that'll make things smoother. All right. Welcome, everyone, to the Seahawk podcast. Today, I have with me Noa Gaia Lakshmi from joining us from Bali, Indonesia. Thank you so much, Noah, for joining me today. This is our first time having a conversation, so it should be very interesting and beautiful.
Yeah. It's the first time that we are officially meeting.
Yeah, it's really cool. I love doing this way. I'll just roll things right out here. If someone was meeting you for the first time, how would you introduce yourself? What would you tell them about yourself? Since we
Well,
are.
right. Well, lately, what comes out of my mouth when people ask me, because one of the first questions that people ask is, "Where are you from?" And I say, now I just say, "I'm from a different planet." Just right off the bat, so people know yeah, I that's just the best way I can describe myself and how I felt my whole life, and just the pieces are coming together more and more with the clarity of why I have felt like this my whole life. But yeah, it's just that's what I say. I'm from a different planet, and then the conversation kind of goes from there. Like, oh, what does that mean? And then more questions come up, and I can answer. But yeah.
And you find you're in Bali, Indonesia, but you haven't that's not your native. It's funny when people ask me where I'm from. I At one point I stomped my foot on the ground and I said, "The same place as you." This
Yeah.
planet right here. We all Because I'm nomadic and I just got kind of tired of answering that question. So that just
I, uh,
kind of
I
came out of my mouth.
I
But I
feel
have
I
said,
feel you on
I,
that.
yeah, I have said also in the past that from the stars, I'm from the stars.
Well, exactly.
Yeah.
That's why I say I'm from a different planet. Or I sometimes, even when somebody again asks me where are you from, and I say that's a great question. I have no idea.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The
So
pranic
no, Bali
burning,
is not my native. No, no.
right.
Yeah, it's been a home. I lived here all of last year, and I left for 6 months to take care of some things, and then I returned here in July, and I've been here since then. And in many ways, it does feel like home,
Mm-hmm.
or at least this kind of environment. Doesn't
Right.
necessarily have to be Bali, but there's also something about Bali and the land here that holds me in a very special way.
Yeah, beautiful. I've actually been to Bali and spent a bit of time there. And it does feel like that. It feels like a powerful place. And the climate, yeah, it really holds you. Uh, it's a beautiful
Yeah.
part of the
Well, and
world.
then the feminine energy is so strong here. At least a part of Bali where I am, because I'm away from the touristy side of Bali, which is not something I'm excited about. Some in the more, you can say, secluded, less touristy, the real Bali
Mm,
is, that's the part of Bali that is still, yeah, it's still somewhat unspoiled by the massive tourism and the modern takeover that has been taken. been happening here on this island. So I'm grateful that there's still some pieces to this island that are still somewhat pure and untouched by that, all of that.
Yeah, there's really no escaping that in some way. There's, especially the last 2 or even 3 years, there's been a lot of migration happening. And these powerful places that feel so supportive have really drawn people to them.
Yeah.
And I'm sure they will continue to do so. Um, Definitely have felt that everywhere I've been, that there's sort of no escaping it. And tourism has definitely had its impact. And I like how you say you're from another world, because the more you go down this pranic journey, the more you feel that there's like us and the others. I mean, I don't really want to say it like that, but it's sort of true in a way, because you've gone through this, you pass through a threshold that a lot of people don't experience but have a strong opinion of. Um, so it's interesting talking about diet and what we eat. And then when you go to order, if you're eating out, if you're venturing to do that, it's always like some really strange looks. Like, we really try to avoid sodium chloride, and when you start to talk about that at a restaurant, it's like you can get some really interesting looks from people. It's
I I,
not
I
the
bet.
usual.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't really go out much
Yeah.
or at all, or like eating out with people, but yeah, it's a big topic, and I'm at a point in my life now, if we want to dive into it, when it comes to the pranic path, in which there's been such an evolution that has been occurring naturally, and I'm to the point where my body just doesn't even want to ingest solid food. So yeah, that's a very interesting. But what I'm finding is I'm becoming more comfortable just sharing that with people, because they're on my side, because I've been in this game for so long. I don't, or no more. I don't have any, like in the past, even if it was subtle, maybe I had a level of judgment or towards other people, like, oh, you're still eating food, or you're still eating A, B, C, and D, or again, the tricky ego feeling like it's superior or better than, because, oh, I'm just drinking liquids or whatever. And I felt that that has gone out the window throughout my own transformation and evolution, and realizing and embracing the fact that we all have a different journey, and it's not everyone's lifetime to
Yes.
embody this level of um, our true nature, because we are all pranic. It's not a question if you're pranic or not. It's just a matter of, well, where are you on that ladder?
Right. Beautiful.
Right? So I'm finding myself being more and more comfortable conversing with people and just sharing. Um, and then when people are curious, and they ask questions, oh, how long has it been like this for you? And then I get to share more, like, oh, it's been a process, and that's A, B, and C, and getting into more of the details. And some people are genuinely curious, and they might not have any inclination in this now moment to move in that direction, but it doesn't matter.
Yeah, you still plant a seed because a conversation has happened. And
Exactly.
it could be years down the road when they kind of think about that again and go like, oh, actually, or they're faced with some adversity and they're like, wait a minute,
Well,
I can get
I
myself
feel that
through this.
exactly, I feel that any person that crosses my path or our paths
Mm,
and actually get to have a conversation with us, that there's a reason for that.
mm,
So We are there having that interaction because that person, in some way, shape, or form, is ready for that seed to be planted. Their soil is ready for that. And that's why we're crossing paths. Now, it might be next lifetime, it might be even 30 lifetimes from now. Right?
Yeah, it doesn't really matter, actually, does it? I
Because
remember
even
my
for us, the seed was planted in some way, shape, or form at some
yeah.
point.
Yeah, it was for me, it was really spontaneous. Like I was just joining a friend that was doing a cleanse. And it was during that experience that I was like, wait a minute. Like
Uh,
I went so far with it that I broke all of the illusions that I had of how it was gonna feel, and just everything about it was so different than what I was programmed into thinking it would be. And I really entered it with a lot of curiosity, actually, about what that threshold would be like to move past just the hunger pains and see where this experience could lead. And I was really shocked. Um, yeah, and I really changed my relationship with food from then on in, and in my body, like on a cellular level, something shifted in me, and I've never gone back to that previous state. It was like a big reset in my life. And as you say, it's like been a really long journey since then of just I say I don't deny myself anything. I really give my body whatever it wants, like whatever it wants in that moment. But as I've progressed now, it's like the food is an obstacle for the body to deal with. Solid food is really, really, the more you lean out, the more it just naturally presents itself that way. And it's so obvious, actually. And it's really, when I eat now, it's really like nostalgia and very emotional based. And also dealing with the energy and the power that you get from not consuming solid foods. It I eat to ground myself because it's like kind of almost overwhelming feeling of like, wow, it's a really powerful experience. And there's something to that part of it that not a lot of people talk about. What you do with all of this energy and power, really. Like, don't be the astonishment of it in a way, of the
yeah,
body.
yeah, that's a great point that you bringing up, Anna, because it's Anna, right?
Yeah.
Anna. It's what I have found on this journey. It's every time we take a step up the ladder, so to speak, if it's conscious or not, because a lot also happens underneath the surface, the recalibration of the body and the state of being. And so we there must be a period of integration, there must be a period of recalibration, and then it becomes the new norm. So what you're saying regarding, wow, it can be overwhelming, the energy and the power and everything that we experience, well, yeah, until that becomes the baseline.
Right.
Right, it's just like anything else, right? If you've ever taken on a new anything, right? Even going to yoga, right? It's like at the beginning, it's like, oh my God. And then after years, and I'm bringing yoga because that's close and dear to my heart. And I see it, like I've been practicing yoga for 20 years and teaching for 18. And now 20 years later, and I'm still in awe of,
Yeah.
wow, now I can, like how can I get into certain positions that in the past it was such a struggle or it was overwhelming, but now there's like this baseline that you are accustomed to, oh, okay, and now ready to take a step, another step. And so that's number one. And the other thing that I felt compelled to share, and it's also regarding what we were talking about, creating communities and hubs for
Mm,
people like ourselves, is that that plays a huge role, because the energy that we are surrounded by, when you are in that state, like you're saying, there's so much energy and that power, and but you're still in the energy field that is such a contrast. Even if you have your beloved with you, or some people that you connect with online, it's not the same as imagine yourself living in a village where there's 50 people, or even less, doesn't need to be that much, but there's a pod,
yeah.
that the energy field all vibrates on that same level, and that energy field actually holds you, that even if you get overwhelmed, the energy field is not such a contrast to what you are experiencing in your own vessel.
Yes, this is really near and dear to my heart and been a topic for a very long time, actually. I worked with this, um, I had a unique experience interacting with a retreat center on Cortez Island when I was in my early 20s. And that really had an impact on me. I drove a water taxi from Vancouver Island to this other small island, Cortez Island, where this retreat center was. So I was bringing clients and presenters in and out of this space for many years. And I went there myself to just because after talking to the presenters actually a lot, like year after year, taking them in and bringing them out and having this little chunk of time of my, like, being able to interact with them on an intimate level for this like half hour journey across the ocean was really special, and it drew me to go and visit the space itself and the garden. And of course I got to know the people that were managing this space and the staff and stuff like that. And that's what you're describing is what I felt there. So it can happen in a lot of different ways. And when you create a vibration like that, it's it's really beautiful because you feel the community of the people that care for this retreat center, and the people that are drawn to that, like to work there and to volunteer there, and they become a community like of themselves. But it's not like a lot of people think of these things and they're like, okay, it's like a gated community and it's like cult like thing, but it really was not like that at all. And as soon as you enter the grounds, because there's this supportive framework there, you already, I mean, even whether you're conscious of it or not, your body feels that. And there's already a letting go happening and a healing happening on the subtle level that you may not even be aware of, but which is definitely happening. And these little nucleuses, I really see them being powerful spots, like all around this plane that we live on, and becoming like I would be at one of these places myself right now if I could be, just to be in a space where your way of living, your lifestyle is embraced, and I'm you're not always feeling like an outsider in a way. I could say it that way. And there's a lot of emotional detoxing or emotional purification that comes along with this that really requires some form of support, because as soon as the body starts to purify, all of this emotional
Gunk.
part of your body starts to get released, and that's like another thing that you really need to have a community around you, and online is sort of where everybody's at for the most part right now, to come together for that in like the immediate, like you say, when especially when you're in a relationship or a family situation where everybody's not evolving at the same rate. There's a lot of things to manage so that you can continue on your own journey, even though the other people around you are not there yet.
Yeah, beautifully said, Anna, and it touches my heart so deeply because it's a vision that I've been seeing for so many years.
Mm-hmm.
And I know that this is the mission that I was called for in this
Mm-hmm.
life and on this plane. And it has been a very interesting and very lonely journey, and having faith that, and I know it's a matter of timing. And I've been patiently sitting and allowing things to mature and evolve, and for myself, of course, as well, to mature and evolve. And but I know that this is why I'm here to create those hubs that we were talking about. And this is a huge step in humanity's evolution to return to
Definitely.
our natural state. I mean, this is where we're heading.
Yeah.
And there's a massive purification that is occurring on the planet and in humanity. Just like the body goes through its own detoxification and purification, that's what we are seeing happening. And it's not pretty, it's not pleasant. And yeah, there's some loss, you can say, or things that are going to be shedded along the way for humanity to reach its next step.
Yeah.
And this is part of it. So in a sense, we are such pioneers. And
Yes.
what you are talking about is so true. That sense of support and having a community and being held, not online, it's not the same. It's
Mm-hmm.
just not the same as being, again, the energy field. Like, just, it's a lot more weight to carry when we are alone on this really cutting edge path, right? So
Yeah.
there have been masters and people still living on the planet that have brought their own energy to the table, so we can now take the torch and run with it. And we are riding that wave of energy of these great masters and these beautiful people that have lived in this way for many years. And now it's our time. And I know for myself, and some people can do it solo, and no, it's okay for them. But I know for myself and for many others, how much more even enjoyable or pleasant and less of a heavy lifting when we have that sense of belonging, just that alone. And I'm big on nervous system, like this whole
Mm-hmm.
journey, when your nervous system is not stable, like you were talking earlier, all that energy, all the things that come out emotionally, it can be quite challenging. And so not having that sense of belonging, not having a sense of safety, that is all quite taxing
Mm-hmm.
for our nervous system. And it's like a tug of war between, well, I know that I'm chronic. I know I really don't want to consume, but then there's that tug of war of all the other things that are happening simultaneously in the nervous system, not having enough stability to handle this immense transformation. I mean, we're not just talking about becoming a vegetarian, whatever. This is like, this is this is the last frontier. And if we really put things on the table and shed the light on it, like we like to do it as Scorpios, like the full truth, the whole truth, it's a drug. Like, we are all coming off drugs, you know, and it's like you can't expect a cocaine addict. They go to rehab, right? They go to
Yeah.
places which they have support, you know, to get off
Yeah.
these drugs.
And some people can do it on their own, but it's very rare and it's very challenging and very difficult. But it doesn't have to be. And you
Exactly.
know, the hardest, so far, the hardest drug for me to get off of was actually sodium chloride. I
Oh
had
yeah.
such a crazy experience with that one. It's just astonishing to me. I was like, had all these crazy like symptoms I was not expecting. And at first I was like, oh my God, like I need this. You know, like
Right.
I can't function without it. There must be something in this that's good for me, you know, and I can really see myself like the cocaine, like these addicts where they're like, no, no, I need it. Like my body, you create such a huge dependency.
Yeah.
But once you get yourself clean from these things and get your body reset your body so you're past all of this addictive withdrawal symptoms, and then start to feel your body with like clean. Wow, it was huge for me. It changed so many things, like my joints, all of these issues I had with issues I didn't even know I had, because there are issues that you're like, okay, this is just natural from aging. Wait,
Yeah,
and
the greatest lie of all.
I know, right? And then you're like, oh, actually, okay, my knees feel better, my hips feel better. I had major issues with swollen legs. Like, you couldn't even really see my ankle. Like, it was just my legs were so swollen. That was like one of the things that I've been battling for a really long time. Like I'm one of the first things I went to go see a doctor about, and you know they did an ultrasound on my legs to see like where is there a blockage here, like what's going on, and yeah, getting rid of the sodium chloride just like got rid of all of this water retention and inflammation in my joints, and I could feel the change happen in my skin. Like I was already seeing really good results from I'm a plasma cycler, so urine therapy, and I've been kind of hardcore on that one since the very beginning, almost 3 years ago now, and using moringa oil. Actually, those that combination on my skin has been really amazing for like the finer lines and stuff like that. But the level of hydration that my skin has felt since getting off the drug of sodium chloride, wow, I'm so excited to see where this is going, because it's only been probably 6 months really that I've gone off sodium chloride. Like I've had it now and then, which has also been super interesting to put that into your body after you haven't had it in months, and then see you really instantly my body is just like, no, don't give this to us anymore, please. Like the signs are pretty clear on
Right.
that one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, good for you. I'm happy to hear that it's been 6 months. That's huge.
Yeah.
That's huge. Yeah. And that's the only way for us to know is to take a step back from those drugs long enough
Yeah.
and then to experiment and put it back and see. Because if we don't do that, then the body's just numb. So you can keep going and
Oh
putting it in
yeah.
the body. And you might not even have symptoms. You know, some people don't have the swollen legs or whatever. But I have a lot of information out there that I put out with assault, you know, that there's many things that people just don't connect the dots of why this symptom is actually, if we trace it back, it we can go back to the soul and what it's doing to your body and how it's affecting certain organs that are connected to the symptoms that you may experience. So it's a silent killer, you can say,
Yeah,
and
I like how,
and
yeah.
it's widely used. It's widely
And you
accepted.
tell people about it. You bring this subject up, and it's like they
Oh,
have
that's
a
the
love
shocker.
affair. Yeah, they have a love affair with salt. You find out like that they really don't want to let go of this one. They're like, no, I need these minerals. I'm like, yeah, you need minerals, but they're
But they're
not
not
in the
in the
form of
salt.
rocks. Do
Exactly. And
not
it's, and
need
then
the.
people like, oh, this, the sodium, and it's like, well, but you've got natural sodium in plants, and
Hmm.
that's what the body can actually recognize and assimilate, because the sodium chloride just accumulates in the body. But again, Anna, again, I've been on the train of like kind of like a crusade of sharing information, and and seeing like the addicts, responding to certain things, and it's like, okay. And I've taken such a step back from all of it, you know, really reevaluating for myself
Hmm.
what is my authentic expression. Like, I have a ton of, okay, experience and knowledge and whatnot, and how do I play the role that I came here to play?
Right.
And
That's what's
I've
so beautiful about all of this is that you can verify it for yourself
right.
with your own body, with your own lived experience. And you don't need to wonder. You can just go and test it for yourself. That's the amazing um,
Yeah,
part
and
of all of it.
knowing that people come to their own um, realizations when it's time for them.
Yeah,
I'm not.
definitely.
Yeah, I'll share when I'm called to share, but I've gone off the horse of like, I'm in a crusade, to
Yeah, yeah, for sure.
post on Facebook every 2 days about how horrible salt is, or it's like, okay, I've put it out there, I have a YouTube video, I have things, it's like, okay,
Yeah,
well, I
yeah, yeah.
trust that now people are gonna, when they do cross paths with it and it's gonna resonate, then great, I'm
Yeah,
here
no,
to
that's
share
why
more.
that's right. I totally agree with you. That's why I just love having conversation where we're just sharing our own experiences and, I'm not interested in onboarding, that
Right.
people, I just trust that people will come.
Well, and
I'm
Anna,
not worried about it.
as a Scorpio, it's like we can get so passionate, and especially passionate
Yes.
about the truth, right? And it's like,
Mm.
okay, well, back off with the intensity, and
Yes,
and
okay. I can
actually,
definitely say I was guilty in some places, especially with my family, with my parents.
sure.
I was because of my father was actually going through a health crisis, and I really kind of like put my foot down. I'll just say it like that. I was like, okay, either you read this book and then, just a few things. Either you sit down and you actually read this information, and then we can have a discussion on it, or you just begin right now. Either of those two things has to happen here because it was like at a really crucial, like things were going downhill fast. So I kind of like insisted because I'd you know done the work of doing the investigation and then done the investigation on my own body. So I felt like I was coming from a space of higher knowledge. And yeah, so they went for it, and they went on this journey with me, and
Oh, fantastic.
yeah, they really see the results and are really super grateful. But I don't do that with very many people, obviously. I don't have the
Right.
energy, really. I mean, it took a lot of my energy to do that. I definitely don't want to. do that.
Yeah.
And I really, my social media space, I really want people to feel like it's a beautiful space to come and just like detox the mind. I post pictures of myself in these beautiful surroundings I find myself in and some poetry. And that's my message is we're here to glow, shine your light back to the creator, whoever, in whatever form you think that is for you is your own expression. And yeah, just like a little safe space to come where you're not bombarded with. We have strict rules in the Mother Spirit community. You're not allowed to say the names of these people, and the politics is not um, on the table. Like in a sense, like local, the politics of your own personal uh, environment and the what's around you that's affecting you, like that kind of thing. Obviously, we discuss, but not um, not the bigger
Puppet
puppets.
show.
Yeah, because I really believe what you give your energy to is what you're calling to have more of.
Yeah.
And I want to create like my own other alternate reality and nucleus and energy. Totally, whatever is happening out there, I really don't give it, I don't engage, I don't click on those things. Yeah, I don't follow, I don't go to the feed. I really limit as much as possible how much um, I see of that. Because all these things make imprints, and I'm careful about the music I listen to, and I go out of my way to go to smaller markets that aren't pumping out pop music when you go into their space. I just limit all around what terrain I'm putting my body in.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, you're
Yeah,
discerning what is supportive to your system and what isn't.
yeah, and that's why you end up in a place like Bali and create your little nucleus there as you have. Do you
Yeah.
feel you'll be there for a while?
I have no idea. um, I really live moment to moment. At this point, it's not even one day at a time. It really is one moment to the next. Um, I feel that it's not my forever place in the sense
Mm,
of even recently in the last few months returning to Bali after being away for 6 months, and I've recalibrated. I've changed so much in those 6 months that I felt and I feel, well, it doesn't resonate in the same way.
mm-hmm.
Um, so to answer your question, no, it's not going to be for ever and ever. And my prayer has been, show me my people, the beloved that I want to share my
Mm,
life with, just like who the people that I know that I'm meant to create this vision. And so if they all come to Bali and this is where God wants it to happen, then I'm also, in complete surrender. But there's a deeper knowing that at least for now, like it's not pure enough here in a sense. Yeah.
I get
So
what you mean. I felt that what you're saying, I felt also in Bali.
yeah.
One of the things I really loved about Palma de Mallorca in Spain, the island, I really, that place is like pulling me. I'm not clutching on to anything, right now. This is
Where are
the,
you right now? I thought that you were in
right, I'm not
Mallorca.
there. I had to leave there. I'm in Montenegro now, which is also another very interesting place. I could, yeah, but there's things about it's very lush in nature and super dramatic, like the from sea level, and you can look up the hill behind where I'm staying here, the hill, the mountain. From sea level, this mountain is like 5,200 feet. It's like from the ocean to Kathmandu, like boom.
Wow.
So beautiful and so lush. I was doing a 36-hour fast when I arrived. We arrived Sunday. By the time we got here, it was a Sunday morning and like everything was closed. There was nothing open. And the people we were staying with that are hosting us are like, do you want tea or coffee or a schnapps? We were like, no, thank you.
No.
I mean, really kind, right? In their own way, really,
Yeah.
like, really hospitable. But we were no, thank you. We have all the water we need, and we went for a 14 kilometer. Actually, ended up being 28, 14 kilometers to the next big town just to check it out. And we were full. We were full of energy, even though we had slept in a airport the night before. But anyway, the connections, everything was crazy, even though we're not traveling really that far as the crow flies, but just how it worked out. And as we were walking along the side of the road, I was like, these blackberries. It's like all these blackberries. And so we started eating these blackberries. And then there was like pomegranates, like so many pomegranates that, I mean, it was like a buffet. By the time we got into town, I was completely satisfied. I really didn't need. Well, the thing about plasma cycling is you kind of, when you get into that flow state, you really feel satisfied. Like you don't hunger for really anything. But
Yep.
this was a nice arrival. And we spent the last like 2 kilometers into town, these people from Israel picked us up actually. And they're like, it's the new year for us and we're supposed to eat a pomegranate today. And I was like,
Perfect.
we just did that. And they were really shocked by that. But it was such a beautiful arrival to, yeah, it's like a movable feast. We really don't even see what's right there already in abundance in front of us until you kind of like slow down and, start walking. Um,
Yep.
yeah, and we walked almost all the way back. And again, a woman picked us up. We weren't hitchhiking. Someone stopped and offered us a ride. And yeah, when we're on our way back, a beautiful woman with her son, a single mother living here for 8 years now, from Turkey actually, picked us up on our last little bit back and dropped us off. And it was just a beautiful first day here, and all of this female energy extending itself to us is really amazing. And in the pranic circles, also, and also the plasma therapy. I don't even call it therapy. Actually, it's like a lifestyle. In this plasma pranic lifestyle pool of people, there's so many women really like leading the way. I'll even say it that way. Hungry for the community to be born and
Yeah.
looking for it and seeking it out. So something's going to happen.
I I feel it, and as an astrologer, I know that it's 2025 to 2027.
Yeah.
Those are going to be very crucial moments
All
in
the
our
hair on my
own
legs
evolution.
just stood up.
Yeah.
You said that. Yeah, it's coming.
Right. Yeah. And I know for myself, like Spain, Greece, that Mediterranean area has been calling me for a while. I've
Hmm.
been to Spain. Um, I love that area, and it's
Oh,
not the tropics. Um, yeah,
There's
it's not the
something about the
tropics. It's not the
energy there. The
same, but
people are
yeah,
so chill. Like the
they're
most
beautiful,
chill people I've ever been
beautiful
around.
people.
And to
Yeah.
be able to go to a beach as a woman and take your top off and be able to like,
Yes, the liberation of that. Oh my God.
I was so after being, we spent, like almost a decade in Asia. And
Ah,
um, yeah, that really, I didn't realize how this one single act freed up so much pent up like oppression. And
ugh,
yeah, I was like, okay, I can't live somewhere where this is forbidden.
right.
It's just almost
I
ridiculous to even say it.
I hear you, sister. I mean, let's take it a step further and just like full on nudity. You know that it's just acceptable.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but I totally hear you. What's so interesting that in Bali, like the old traditional, when you go to the traditional village where it's still untouched, pe- women, like the old ladies, walk around with their breasts, walk around if they're like laying on the beach, sunbathing. They don't do that. They're just nudity is was always accepted in this culture. So it's
Mm-hmm.
really interesting how now it's like, oh no,
Yeah.
and it brings up a lot of issues. Yeah, so
I think
I
so much
so
of
hear
this
you on
is,
that.
yeah, I think so much of this is tied to how I feel like women, especially, our sexuality has been hijacked. Like we've been over sexualized, and everything
Yeah,
about the female body has been turned into this like desire for like lust. And
lust.
you can't show yourself because a man might be affected by that. And it's up to us
And
to
sadly,
control this.
but
Like,
sadly, that is a reality in terms of men. If you are alone as a woman on a beach, topless in certain places, you might be asking for trouble, or men
definitely.
might look at you and kind of like start drooling, which doesn't feel comfortable. And I've been in those
No.
situations, so I'm like, this is just yucky energy. But that goes back to what you're saying. Sexuality as a whole has been so distorted on the planet, and that's why
Right.
we have the
That's the
situation.
programming. The program is playing out in the people around us and the men around us.
Yeah, yeah, and
Definitely.
especially in foreign. If I'm in Bali, right, and obviously I'm not Balinese, and for them to see a naked woman that it's a different skin color, it's just
Mhm.
they get like, whoa, it's
Yeah.
it's a thing. Um,
Yeah.
so anyhow, yeah, that's I hear you on the freedom and just having the ability to be who we are, and it doesn't cause any drama.
Yeah, definitely. I think this is actually a beautiful place to wrap it up about the at freedom here.
Yeah,
And
free the boobs.
yeah.
And just
And I'm just gonna
yeah,
pop
just
up your
freedom.
website on the screen here. And yeah, if people want to get a hold of you, that's where they can do that. What's your
Yeah,
website called
yeah.
again?
It's the Soteria Foundation that life.
Yeah, beautiful.
Um, and yeah, I can always shoot me an email, Noa Lakshmi at Gmail. Noah with no H. Which yeah, I've been feeling my name is going to be changed very soon. I'm just Noah just doesn't fit me
I'm
anymore. I
yeah,
can't
I'm
wear
gonna
that
come right
anymore.
back. I need a plug in.
Ah, yeah.
Sorry. Emergency, emergency. I just realized that my laptop wasn't plugged in.
Ah, yeah. Oh,
And
good.
it's flashing at me. Like, I noticed at 1%. I'm like, oh my God.
Ah,
Right at the end here, like to have a fail.
well, perfect.
Anyway, so we're plugged in. Phew.
We're plugged in, and we can, yeah, we can bring it to a landing.
Yes.
Safe
Semi
landing.
semi traumatic. Yeah, it's funny. My dad was actually he had his private pilot's license, and he would always say, "Any landing you walk away from is a good landing."
Ah, indeed.
Yeah, so it could be bumpy, but we're all here.
Yeah.
Yeah, so thank you so much. And yeah, so what do you, in before we close out, you want to just quickly go over what you offer a little bit and what's the best way for people to get in touch to you? Is it through your website?
Yes. So yeah, it's all the information is on my website, and I've been moving through massive recalibration of even what it is that I offer, and my deep desire and calling is actually music and musician, and using
Mm,
my voice. So actually haven't been doing consultations or working with people online because I don't want to be in front of the screen. This is actually the first time I'm doing like a screen thing in a while. But when called, and if people come to me, I'm a regenerative purification specialist and cellular regeneration specialist. And so I help people in the process of purification of body, mind, and spiritual guidance as well, using yoga and different modalities and breath as a healing tool, astrology as well, and also people that are truly feeling called to move in the direction of pranic living, and assist those who are inspired to live in this way, or at least have some guidance, because it's a process. It's not like, oh yeah, next week, oh, there's a lot to unravel. And also working with women with eating disorders that
oh
might be
wow.
feeling called to be on this path, because I've walked that path and there's a lot there, the eating disorders and the chronic journey, and how that comes together. So yeah, I offer quite a bit, and people can get in touch with me either through my website or, like I said, noalakshmi@gmail.com. Noa Gaia Lakshmi, you can find me on Facebook and Instagram, Noa Lakshmi. For now, it's still Noa Lakshmi until the new name drops. I mean, it's already there, but yeah,
Cool. I love that. I love that how open you are to change and yeah, I really resonate with that. This is the lightest in cargo I've ever been. I've really downscaled to like this astonishingly low volume. And
but that's part
it,
of the pranic path. It's just like naturally you want to release, like, I look at the suitcase that I'm traveling with, and I'm like, I can't do that anymore. Like,
yeah, hey.
I don't want to.
Yeah, I'm actually down now to, I can actually, I don't have anything with wheels on it. Like I can carry everything on,
Amazing.
I have like I don't even remember, a 58-liter backpack, which maybe that sounds like a big backpack, and a 30-liter carry-on, um, you know, backpack. So I can actually move everything. But uh, and that's all like studio gear, and I travel with my own bed, actually, like my yoga mat and my wool blanket and, comfort things so that I can feel like, yeah, there's no filler in there. It's really, everything's quite practical.
Yeah,
And I feel so mobile. Like I can, at a moment's notice, I can pack up. Like you're saying, you're living by the moment. I can totally resonate with that. I'm like, I'm ready to go. When the call comes and
exactly.
something wants to be created somewhere, I'm ready. I'm ready. I'm ready to move. And
Totally.
there's something super liberating about that, isn't there?
Absolutely.
When you're on this pranic journey, you don't even require much to be existing there when you arrive.
Well, and again, we want to wrap it up and we can have another conversation, but that's also one of the reasons why I would like to create those hubs, because I hear you. I travel with my own sheets. I travel with, like, a glass thing, like, because I can't stand the detergents, when I go to places. I
Yes.
strip off the
Mm-hmm.
bed immediately. So it's not like I barely have any clothes that I'm traveling with. It's just like sheets and my own towels and just like that. I don't
Yes.
want to subject my body, to all those insane perfumes. And anyhow,
Yeah.
so creating hubs in which, I don't need to carry my own towels. I don't need to carry my own sheets because,
Right.
of course, they're not going to use detergents and they're going to have
Yes.
glass containers and not plastic, and all the stuff. So I
Yeah.
travel with mason jars, that I can put my juice in and my tea. It's just, and and a juicer. I travel with like a full-on juicer, but
Wow, nice. I love
yeah.
that. I'm not there yet, but I've been really close.
Yeah, well, it becomes kind of like, if that's your food, then. But even
Yeah.
that is, I'm not. Once I leave Bali, I'm leaving the juicer behind,
Yeah.
and I can always get a new juicer. But I'm not. I've come to that clarity. That juicer is not coming on the plane with me. That particular one.
Yeah, beautiful.
Yeah.
All right. And yeah, I can be found. I'm just going to put my website up too, seahawk.creome.net. If anybody wants to have a beautiful interaction like this, and as you can see, was our first conversation we've ever had, and I'm so thrilled about it. Thank you so much, Noah. Really, it's
Uh,
been an honor and a privilege to share this last hour with you, and I look forward to connecting more in the future.
Me as well, Anna. Thank you so much.
All right.